So welcome back to Luxury Trip Girl. This is just a very quick video on a few travel tips for 2 locations I've been, Venice and Lake Como. That's it, nothing else. So I will have more videos as time goes on here, but this is just my first 5 days. It's literally been 4 nights and 2 cities. And yeah, so first, I would definitely not skip Lake Como. So I have stayed here only 2 nights. It's been very short, and I have been doing that throughout my travels. 2 nights, maximum 3. It's incredibly rushed. Just in general, packing light is good for this, which was difficult to do because I was in Monaco first. And when you are in Monaco, you know, it's very high fashion, so it was a little difficult. I did ship back a lot home, and I'll ship back more from this hotel as well. So my, I guess, overall impressions of this hotel. First of all, it earns its reputation. It has a reputation as the best in Lake Como, maybe one of the finest in Italy. Certainly deserves it. Shout out to my travel agent and friend, which is Village Travel Laguna, and I'm more than happy to give you their contact information. If you follow me on Instagram at Luxury Trip Girl, I will be happy to answer your message and get you in contact with the owner who can help you set up a similar trip. So this hotel, every hotel here is pretty isolated. And when I say that, I mean really to get somewhere, you can walk. I have a broken toe, so just full disclosure, it's a little more difficult for me to walk at the moment. But I'm getting around anyway, but it's quite a ways, you know, a couple of kilometers at least to get to a decent restaurant. So certainly making sure you call ahead for a taxi is good. The water taxis run every few minutes. There's public water taxis and private, of course. Public seems to be about every 15 minutes, and they are right in front of the hotel. There is a fish restaurant if you are into seafood that is literally, I'll show you since I'm recording from the lobby. It is right there with the orange huts. The orange and white huts. So that is actually a floating platform, and there's a pool in there that is not heated, but the area is a little sort of discombobulating disconcerting, I should say, because it's on water and you just feel it's not quite moving with the water, so it's a little off-putting. But once you get used to it, it's pretty nice, and it's a nice place to just relax. There's a little bit of sand that I believe has been brought in because I was told by a guide that there is no natural sand here other than one very small patch. I mean like a patch, like a 10 by 10 foot patch. So that's been interesting. The public beaches are everything's rocky. Public beaches are definitely more crowded. I did not realize I would be here over a public holiday, which was a lot of fun actually. A lot more people around. I did take a 5-hour tour to around Lake Como just to see what's around. I mean, a lot of very famous people have villas here. They're often owned by businesses, you know. For example, there's a beer company that owns one of the villas. George Clooney's company owns one of them. There's another filmmaker that owns one. The owner of a very large restaurant chain has one. So when you go around on the tour, they'll show you. It's pretty interesting. I mean, if you're into architecture and different homes, some of them were built in the 1800s, some of them very recent, like 1920s would be recent here and renovated. So it's pretty interesting to take a little tour. I did ask the skipper to step on it a little bit. It was a little too slow for me in the beginning. So, you know, my advice is to set the expectation pretty early about what it is that you want from your tour. Because you're paying for it, right? So it's okay to say, I want more time in the town shopping and less time, you know, showing me villas, right? So that's the sort of thing that I would tend to say. If you are working with a travel company, then telling them your expectations ahead of time, they'll communicate that to the guides. So in this case, one of the things that I learned is that I'm big time. I already, you know, throughout Europe, you're not going to have like you do in the US, right, where there's a line for the gratuity. If you leave a few euro on the table, it's usually a very good thing. But I've been big time over tipping the guides and the drivers. In my mind, if someone's taking me from Venice here 5 hours, you know, in a van, I'm going to tip them a couple €100. I found out that's really unusual, and 40 would be good because they're actually well paid here. So I've been doing that pretty consistently and feeling like I've been too cheap. But it turns out that it's actually been quite the opposite. So, and I asked my travel partner, asked her that, like, what should I be tipping? Because I feel like it's been a lot. Because you end up adding a few €100 a day, right? If you're taking different tours and doing things. I'm not a big fan of anything group. Myself and my partner, or myself, depending on who I'm traveling with, or a friend. But overall, would prefer small, kind of more intimate settings. I tend to not like a lot of conversation. I like to just sit back and take things in, but it's nice to hear about the history and the architecture and what's, some little tidbits. So you'll see on my channel, on my Instagram, you'll see a video or a photo actually of a waterfall that I never would have filmed on my own, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And its nickname is the Lovers Waterfall because the men jump off the bridge. I don't know why. Maybe they have a different idea of love out here, but nevertheless. But I wouldn't have seen that, for example. And then eventually we made our way to Bellagio. I had, after being in the town, I wish we had another 2 hours there. It was a lot of fun, some great boutiques, great restaurants, a lot of kind of more authentic Italian food that I've been finding in Lake Como, which is very high end, obviously. And so I think that's been something kind of that I've learned overall. So I'm trying to think what else I can share with you in terms of a travel tip coming to Lake Como. From here, Milan's relatively close. Venice is about 4.5 hours away. I can say I was not eager to come here. I didn't think that it was going to be worth my time, particularly in light of the fact that I didn't have that much time in Italy, just a couple weeks to see many cities. And it was insisted upon by the travel company that I use that I should come, and I'm glad that I did. But it's been very rushed, and the spa here looks amazing. I would love to have gotten a massage, worked out here in the gym, had more time to actually be at the hotel, but that ended up not happening. So I would just say, if anything, it's to take the amount of time that you expect you'll need and add one whole day so you can do things in a more leisurely pace. Certainly I'll be doing that in the future. Convincing my travel buddy to increase that is the difficult part. But I'll just go on my own, and I'm generally used to doing that. So over tipping is a thing, definitely something I would recommend watching what you're tipping, and expect that you'll have a lot of traffic. I've been, not surprised because I come from the LA area, but it's been pretty intense. And then accommodations here, don't expect, even if you're paying for an executive suite, don't expect a big room like we would have back in the States. It's, executive suite is a really nice suite. It's a really nice room, right, that we would consider a pretty small room. So if you're used to having a lot of space, and you and your partner maybe like your own space, your own bathrooms even, you're going to be hard pressed to find that, in my experience throughout Europe, but certainly in my experience so far in Italy. So sort of just a recap. This was intended to be a recap of the hotel. This is sort of a recap of just Venice and Lake Como. And I will record another video here of a recap of the hotel. So enjoy your day. And if you come to Italy, feel free to ask questions, and please share your own thoughts on what you enjoy, what you like to do, and how you travel here. Thank you.